All right, so now today's program is going to be introduced by Bob Weiss.
So I'm going to embarrass somebody pretty quick. Christina Wilson, who we lovely call KJ, is the communication and marketing manager for the city of Medford, first one they ever had. And she started her career at KOBI. Give a welcome to Christina. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'll pay for that. Rob Field got his Bachelor of Arts degree at UC Riverside. Does anybody know what the athletic teams at UC Riverside are called? Anybody? The Highlanders. Is that right, Rob? Interesting to be named after a model of Toyota, but that's good. Later, Rob got his Master's of Arts degree at California Baptist University. Does anybody know what CBU's teams are called? The ever so powerful CBU. The Lancers, a type of Mitsubishi. You going to Santa Clara next so you can be a Bronco? Is that the next step? Seriously, Rob came to Medford with a wealth of experience, a heart for public service, and thankfully a great sense of humor. Because let's face it, managing a city is a little like herding cats. In his time here, Rob has proven to be thoughtful, creative, approachable, and genuinely committed to making Medford all it can be. Please provide a nice Rotary welcome to Mr. Robert Field.
Yes, good afternoon. Let me offer a couple of corrections. Highlander, Scottish. We have our own plaid and a bunch of other stuff. So that's where the Highlanders come from. University of California is usually Bears, but we went a different direction. And then Lancers, of course, is a Baptist University. So that's we're also apparently Christian soldiers. So anyway, yeah, I've been here since I started October 1st, but the interview process started in the summer. And it's interesting because two of the first people I met in the community of Medford, Bill Ely, Patsy Smallin, they're both part of the interview process, and it's great. Ever since they were incredibly welcoming. One of the best things that I've come to realize and appreciate about Medford is what a great community it is, what a welcoming place it is. So I have a brief PowerPoint. Really not a fan of these things. What I prefer to do is hopefully get through this fairly quickly so I can get into a conversation. So if you have questions about what we're up to at the city, we can start talking about that. Yes, Christina, KJ in the back, is actually now our director of both government relations and media marketing, so communications. So she's taking on new roles. That's one of the things that we're very active in now, and it's one of the things I'm actually going to talk about today. Okay, so Rogex, no secret point to everybody here, but we're making tremendous use of that facility. I hope some of you were able to make it out to the car show this last weekend. Picture down the bottom right, we had over 120 cars indoors at Rogex over the weekend, which is a pretty impressive thing. And a lot of those are national award-winning caliber cars. So that's the kind of draw we have there. But we're also putting on all kinds of sporting events there. Volleyball tournaments. We have 16 courts for volleyball and for basketball. Pickleball, indoor pickleball. I never really knew a lot about pickleball, but it came here and it was mentioned, I think, earlier. We're adding 19 outdoor pickleball courts to the Rogex property. So we're going to have a lot of pickleball opportunities here. We also have World Cornhole Championships coming. We already had a regional one. Well, if you like cornhole, which to me is more of a game, if you get better at it when you're having a beer, probably not a sport. But anyway, we are proud of our association with National Cornhole, and lots of other things, trade shows and other stuff. So we're estimating that economic, I think, is a little bit understated, about $7 million in economic impact in its first year. So pretty amazing. That includes things like hotel stays and restaurant business and that sort of stuff. So it's really bringing a lot of activity to Medford. Fire Station 15. So Fire Station 15 is the oldest remaining fire station in the city system, the home of, to some people, the famous teeter-totter toilet. What it meant was there were two toilets that were connected on either side. They got kind of loose. So yes, getting rid of that. We actually tried to have it retained in the design. The fire department said, yeah, no. We are in the process right now of building, and that's going to do an even better job of protecting sort of northeast Medford. Wood debris chipper days. We're doing a lot of things, I think, to bring benefit to the community. And so one of the things that we're all worried about, especially post Alameda fire, is ensuring that we are as resilient and able to resist events like that as possible. One of the best ways of doing that is to get rid of wood debris. That was one of the primary sources of ignition aside from the blackberries. So we're working with the fire department is working with local disposal companies to ensure that people have the ability to get rid of that stuff, so we don't face the same thing again. And maybe have a fewer call outs from Station 15 once it's built. I mentioned that pickleball is coming, so we're making a lot. So Howard School Park upgrades. We have a lot of different things going here. We're making a lot of investments in recreation opportunities and sports. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But for now, a whole bunch of different things coming to the Howard School Park site: pickleball, splash pad, dog park, basketball court, a Portland Loo restroom. Anybody here know what that is? It's a public restroom that's designed to be very easily maintained and cleaned. There's only a few of them in the country. There is sort of a new trend in order to make public restrooms available, so we have fewer opportunities for other types of bad behavior out around town. So we're trying it out here, and we may be installing more places. We're going to open the park Memorial Day 2025. So please be there. One of the things we really have been emphasizing, and that's one of the things I mentioned KJ earlier, we have a pretty aggressive legislative platform. We are very active in Salem and in Washington, D.C. And the reason that's important is that if you're not there, if you're not representing yourself in those cities, you're not going to get it. If you don't ask for it, and Bill Ely can tell you a lot about this, he's done more of this than I have, you're not going to get it. So we have asked for a lot of different things here, a lot of federal investments, a lot of state investments, a lot of things that can happen here. And we actually had pretty good reception this year. So for example, South Stage, we're in the process of planning a new interchange, not an overcrossing, an interchange at South Stage. This has got two primary roles. The first, of course, is being able to get on and off the freeway. But I think more importantly, for our purposes, is emergency preparedness, emergency resilience. If the viaduct goes down, which is a very real possibility, the workaround, the route around town is going to start there. Get you over to Foothill, well, first Phoenix Road, but then Foothill, to get around the downed viaduct, which is a real threat. So that is how we have explained it to Washington, D.C. Our Congressman, Cliff Pence, has really embraced this and is pushing it pretty hard. It's about a $250 million project. So we'll see how it goes. But our initial asks were really well supported there. If you're so inclined, you can feel free to reach out to the Congressman's office and show your support for that project. If you don't like it, please don't call. So Discovery Preschool expansion, wastewater treatment facility upgrades. The wastewater treatment facility, by the way, we were required by DEQ to replace a bunch of the equipment there, which is kind of a bad thing, but maybe not the worst thing. I'm from California, obviously, so I'm used to water recycling and reuse. We don't do that here. The water coming out of the wastewater treatment plant will be reusable for other purposes, for irrigation purposes. And so we're going to market it as such. Irrigation, golf course, watering the golf courses, like say this one, a lot of different uses that water can be put to rather than just being thrown back into the river. So that's one of the things that's hopefully coming soon. A lot of emergency response equipment, clean disposal initiative, which is getting rid of fog, fats, oil, and grease. And finally, Medford Airport. Medford is very fortunate. I've done a lot of economic development. Very few communities this size have an airport like that. The ability to get in and out of this valley is unmatched. And there's only 4 airports, only 4 real passenger carrying airports in Oregon. And this is the first one. So it's a hugely beneficial, it's an asset for this community, but it needs to be bigger, especially the terminal. How many people here have been standing room only in the terminal when you're departing, right? So that's only happened to me twice, but that's a pretty unusual circumstance. But when we went to DC, we're partnering with the county in a pretty robust way, and the other cities around the valley too. So we brought this again to Congressman Bentz and also directly to the FAA. And we have a path forward. We are accelerating the expansion of that terminal by a number of years through some actions that the congressman helped us get. So that is going to be, that'll add additional gate space. It might add additional airlines too, but certainly additional flights from the existing airlines we have here. So this, in terms of being able to bring business in and out of the valley, again, Bill and I've talked about this quite a bit, an astonishingly important asset for Medford, for Jackson County, and really for all of Southern Oregon and Northern California, where our tributary area for the airport is about 650,000 people. That's part of the reason we have it. We're a big place. That's one of the things that KJ and I talk about quite a bit is reminding people. Yeah, I've heard people talk about little old Medford. That's not us. We are a big and important place. And it's one of the things that we're reinforcing with our elected officials, with our staff, and hopefully with all of you, because Medford is a big, important place. And we, periodically need to remind ourselves of that, especially when we go to places like Salem, which is, they do reside in the land of no. We try not to. We try to get to yes. Salem, not so much, but we're working on that relationship too. Just to make sure that we get things more broadly supported, because Medford is an important part of the state and is a kind of an indicator of how things are going in the state. And when we're doing well, that means probably Oregon is doing well. So we make that point routinely. We are represented very ably in Salem, by the way, by a lobbyist by the name of Cindy Robert. Some of you may have heard her name. She is incredibly capable. So we also have a similar representation unit in Washington, D.C. So, and that's unique. A lot of places, nobody else around here has. So that's why we carry messages for other people, other municipalities. So we also, as part of that, we have also started a Southern Oregon City Managers group. So all the cities in Jackson County are members. And we may end up extending that out to Grants Pass as well. Working together, we speak much more robustly through that group. And so actually Cindy Roberts is part of that group. So we just had a meeting a couple of days ago to make certain that as opportunities come up or challenges, that we can represent ourselves as a group more acutely than we might otherwise do. So we just had a meeting. We are helping. There was a grant program that's just canceled by FEMA called the BRIC grant. We lost money. Grants Pass lost money. Ashland lost money. We reached out to Congressman Bentz and some other people that we know in DC. They're doing a workaround. We're hoping to get those grants back. But between those three grants, this region lost $135 million. So in investments in really critical water infrastructure. So we're pushing pretty hard to get that back. Town halls. I had one tonight. If you're not busy, stop by police headquarters between 6 o'clock and 7:30. We're having a town hall. The primary topic is going to be emergency preparedness. I touched on that a few minutes ago. The mayor's going to be there. The council will be there, and staff will be there to answer questions. Make some presentations to be sure, but we also, when it like this, it's better to have interaction. So with that, I am open and available for questions, conversations, whatever you would choose to do.
Have a Nancy, just a second.
I've been in Medford about 9 years now, and very happy to be here. One of the things I've noticed about the city is if I'm driving along Riverside or Central Avenues, they just look terrible, and they seem to be main drags in our town. And there's pot shops and businesses or storefronts that are vacant, third, fourth class motels, and so forth. And it just seems to not give a very good impression of our city for people driving through. Is there any plans to improve the looks of our town?
We are in the process of doing exactly that. One of the first things that struck me when I got here was exactly what you just described. We have a beautiful downtown in a lot of ways. There's a lot of great historic buildings here, but not enough of them are being utilized to their full potential. And we're not doing enough. Classically, you call it code enforcement. Here, our code enforcement actually resides in the police department. So we have a second parallel organization we're setting up called ordinance enforcement, which is going to go after those types of sort of quality of life enforcement opportunities for us, so we can start making the town look better. And it isn't just downtown. We're going to start in downtown, and we are in the process of rewriting parts of the municipal code, the comprehensive plan, the downtown overlay, a bunch of other different things to bring in architectural standards. So things like that, like black buildings, I'm sorry, but not exactly the most appealing way to present your downtown. So we're going to be in the process of establishing standards that will include things like a color palette that will require people to do a better job of taking care of our downtown. And it's going to encourage certain types of uses, discourage certain types of uses. So we are fully aware, and we're in the process of preparing those documents out. When I came in, there were a lot of vacancies here. Assistant city manager, we had never had an economic development director. The planning director position had been open for a while. So glad to say that we have filled all those positions now, and they are in the process of developing plans to do exactly to rectify the problems that you just described. So
can I ask a follow-up to that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry to hop your spot, doctor. Apologize. As a owner of some property on Riverside, we're a nonprofit that was looking to help the neighborhood that we're a part of now on Riverside improve. But we're not able to do as much as we'd hoped for our kind of frontage area without additional grant funding. Does the city of Medford plan to help businesses like ours with those improvements that may be enforced?
Ultimately, yes. We have urban renewal here, which in California was known as redevelopment until Jerry Brown, just to editorialize a touch, my least favorite governor in the history of the state of California, took it away because he wanted the money for himself. And that was just an astonishingly short-sighted thing. Here we still have it. Now, it's called MURA, Medford Urban Renewal Authority. We are in the process of reauthorizing. It had reached its revenue peak. So we're looking at MURA 2.0 right now. We have a committee that's working on that. That would be the source of all sorts of funding for these things, including exactly what you're talking about. So yeah, that's a long way of getting around to yes, that is definitely on our radar.
Does the airport expansion plan considering increasing parking?
Yes, absolutely. If we're going to, I'm not going to criticize my friends at Jackson County. I'm just going to say maybe it's challenging. But yeah, the answer is absolutely yes. It has to. Going to expand the term. I'm going to essentially double the size of the terminal. So yeah, you absolutely have to increase the parking capacity at the airport. Certainly, yes.
So Rob, I'm on your public advisory committee for the Medford 2040 downtown plan. And so I kind of know part of the answer to this question, but I also wanted to address, Nancy's concerns. And I know that with public input, and there's a upcoming community meeting in mid-May for that downtown vision plan. But can you speak to where you all are at on considering a convention center in downtown Medford?
So we're doing two big initiatives in downtown, right? Well, I shouldn't say, one of them is probably going to be downtown, which is the relocation of the Eugene Emeralds, who have lost their home in Eugene and are looking for a new place to land. And really, we think it's probably going to be here. That's a very near-term opportunity because they have to have a decision by the end of May or early June. So there's not a lot of time to think about that. But part and parcel with that, though, too, is the idea of the conference center downtown. And absolutely, that has long been something that the city and the business community here has aspired to. And that's absolutely top priority. We are working actively. There's a lot of the stuff, both at the Emeralds and the conference center, is in the negotiation stage. Government has to hold those sorts of things confidential. So there's a lot of stuff I can't share with you. But I can share with you that they are absolutely at the top of our list of things to do. And we will hope to have updates. Well, I will have some sort of update on the Emeralds really soon, but we're working very closely with a development team on the conference center as well. And that has got to be downtown. So it should help the operations of the library. So yes, absolutely. It's very, very, very much top of mind.
City Manager Field, I was just wondering if the city's tracking the changes to the Endangered Species Act, and then what the implications would be for the industrial holdings in White City that the city has. Industrial demand is the highest it's been in my career, and I see that accelerating. And for a long time, that land has been stalled, and there's a lot of value there. So I'm just wondering Is that a possibility with those pretty big rule changes?
It's a little early to tell, but the short answer is yes. So first of all, are we tracking it? Absolutely, we're tracking it with a great deal of interest. And I think the county has some interest in it too. So we're working together with them on that issue. We are, as I said, we are represented in Washington, D.C., and they are not. So we're working with them on making certain that our interest in seeing it, a little bit of relaxation on some of the restrictions happens. We're not anti-environment, but we want to make sure that the local environment is protected, but at the same time is not so heavily restricted that we can't see additional economic opportunities here. What we really our goal is economic diversification. A diverse economy is a strong economy. And that is something that we are very interested in pursuing. That's why we want to do things downtown, but it's not just in downtown. One of the things that's making its way through the legislature right now is a new housing law. It would relax a lot of the restrictions, currently perceived restrictions right now on condo development. We would love to see some additional residential development downtown. The city has almost 600 employees. Most of them work in the downtown area. Almost none of them walk to work because they can't live there. There are not good living opportunities in downtown Medford. That is something we want to change. And the condo law, assuming it goes through as written, and it got out of the House, so it's in the Senate now, would really help in that respect. It reduces some weird restrictions related to liability that were imposed a long time ago, and which we're now undoing. And that's largely being done by Representative Pam Marsh. She's been leading that charge for us at our request, and with the help of our lobbyist Cindy Roberts. So long way of getting around to we're interested in that, but a whole bunch of other things too, in order to strengthen and diversify our local economy. Patsy.
How do you feel about a new corrections facility, and what would you encourage us to do about it?
Okay, first of all, thank you for calling it something other than a jail, because jail brings up perceptions of prison or something else. We're working very closely. I mean, it is, that's a county responsibility. Is a core of a system, but it is a system. So detention centers or correctional facilities, we usually call them detention facilities or detention centers, are part and parcel of sort of the global criminal justice system, but it's more than that, because now those facilities are also entry points into getting yourself out of the cycle. And one of the things we've done, so we are supporting the county as robustly as we can. And I think there's going to be some things announced soon that I hope that you can get behind. We are already, though, kind of putting our money where our mouth is. We have a very close relationship with the sheriff, and he offered up some jail beds to us. We use those kind of to help people see their way out of the cycle of poverty, homelessness, and various types of bad behavior, substance abuse in particular. So we have 20 beds. We pay $50 a day for those 20 beds. And they're under the control of the municipal court judge. She's the only person in the city who doesn't work for me. She works for the mayor. And she is able to use those beds for finding people who are sort of habitual offenders and helping them get in. And apparently there's some sort of magic number. It's like 8 days. If we can get people to be in there for 8 days, they sober up enough to realize, well, they don't want to do this anymore. So, and a lot of them come out and get into treatment. We're starting to track the numbers, what the percentages are, but that by itself is already making a difference. I know it's slow to see, but if you look at downtown Medford, between the efforts of our livability team and the balance of the police department and a bunch of other good, really helpful people here, is homelessness gone? No, but it's reduced significantly. And a lot of the folks you see down there who are misbehaving are not homeless. There are people who just like that lifestyle. So we're in the process of working through that. Want to be able to, for someone like you, Patsy, I want to be able to tell you the story truthfully of what is going on and how things are getting better. So I hopefully have seen some difference on the Greenway, for example. Our livability team has done a phenomenal job of cleaning up. So there's always going to be more to be done, but we're working on that. But a new detention facility would be a huge part of that. Absolutely.
I know there's quite a bit of discussion that's gone on about West Main and the unusual parking structure, visitor dilemma that you come to when you come to downtown Medford now. Where does all that stand?
The council has directed us to take a look and see what kind of changes would be beneficial there, and we're in the process of studying that now. No results to report yet, but we are taking a very close look at that. Yes, I don't have more announcements, any more announcements to make about that right now, but we are really working.
Good.
Yeah, it's the first thing I heard about when I got here. The councilor Kevin Stein sat me down and said, "You're not going to believe this, but one of the biggest problems we have is West Main Street." So yeah, I've known about it for a long time.
So Rob, on the personal side, you've been here through almost 4 seasons now. You have, as you recreate, is it theaters, fishing, biking, hiking? What have you been able to get out? Do you have a favorite experience you can share with us as an outsider that you've come in and said, "Oh my gosh, this is great. Everybody should know about this." You have something that comes to mind?
Well, you know what? Somebody told me there's something about Medford in this area that they called Rogue Valley nice. I think it's just being here, getting to know people and understanding that's actually a thing. I mean, I went to the same grocery store for years in Riverside, California. The checkout people there now they're Heather at Fred Meyer North. We talked about her family, who's from my part of Southern California, and a bunch of stuff. I mean, people here are really kind and welcoming. I think that's actually one of the best things about this entire area. All those things you mentioned are outstanding. It's pretty good golf here, and just the general environment. But I think it's the people and I'm kind of a people person anyway, so I think it's really the people more than anything. Steve, you're one of them. I mean, you're one of the first people who came to see me too. So yeah, it's a great place to be, great place to live, because the people make it so.
Thank you for complimenting us all.
I noticed on your slide you had a line item about I think it was a daycare expansion. Any update on that and what that looks like? As a father of 3, that's kind of important to me.
Yeah, so that's a Santo Center. Come to find out, we toured representatives from several of our federal elected officials through there, and turns out that is the only city-run daycare and preschool in the state of Oregon. So we are asking for some additional money to expand that. It currently has capacity of 24. We're trying to get it to 36. It's when we took them through there, it was like central casting had been engaged in this somehow. We went into one of the rooms with legislative reps from Senators Merkley and Wyden. And one of the kids, like 4-year-old kid, looks up at us and says, "Shh, it's story time." And all these kids were these were the cutest kids you've ever seen. And we're like, oh my, so they both like, oh, so we got to get you some money. So I think the feds are going to find a way to get money for us. Matter of fact, they said, don't quote me on this. Don't tell them I said this. So just between us, they said, we think we'll get you $500,000 this year. We might actually be able to use the same program again next year, which they don't usually do. So we like our chances. But we're also working with Sonny Spicer at the Children's Museum and preschool there. There are a lot of things we can invest in here, but that's one of the things that holds us back. I mean, when you talk about diversifying the economy, you need to get as many people able to work as possible, and that's one of the challenges. And so we are underserved, like most of the rest of the country, but we is very high priority. So again, long answer, long way of getting to yes, but we are working on that. It is a priority, definitely. Oh, okay.
on the Portland Loo that we were putting, design wise, what makes that safer, more maintainable?
I haven't been in one yet, so I'm gonna just say my understanding is not self-cleaning. There are some that are self-cleaning, but they don't actually work very well. They're really end up being high maintenance, so it's very easy to clean. I think it's stainless steel and stuff on the inside, and there's a hose attachment so you can get in and wash it out really quickly and really easily. Oh, they have one of those, a Portland Loo? Okay. All right. Well, there you go. If you want to know, go check it out. Stop by the library, check out a book, and then go look at the Portland Loo. Can I ask a question? Anybody want to know about the emeralds? Anybody want to hear about it? Okay. All right. I should have said more earlier, but I wanted to see. I thought maybe I'd get a question. Okay. So they have been in Eugene for 7 years. But the University of Oregon, great school, go Ducks. I'm a Bruin fan, but anyway, yeah, KJ's an Oregon grad, so I hear that a lot around the office. There just isn't room for the Emeralds and all the different sports programs at the University of Oregon in Eugene. They tried to get a stadium replacement project done with Wayne County on the fairgrounds, but they couldn't get the money together. So about a month and a half ago, Eugene put out an announcement on Facebook. We are sorry. We've loved Eugene, but we're leaving. So that decision now has been made. The question now for us is, how do we do this? So we're working on sites. We're working on we're already in the process of hiring consultants to help us figure out what to do and how to do it. We had a meeting here actually that was attended by Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball is very involved in minor league baseball now. They have a new standard for minor league baseball stadiums, which is driven by their relationship with the union. The union does all labor relations with baseball players, not just major leaguers, but all of them. So the stadium has to. They told us our primary focus is the players, not the fan experience, but the player experience. That's why these things have to be rebuilt. So that is what we're focusing on. We have some pretty good ideas. We have a couple of pretty good location alternatives that we're exploring, but we're very aggressively pursuing this. This would be it's a little too easy. It'd be a game changer for us as a community. Thank you. I've been here all week, and I'll be here the rest of the week too. We're working this really hard because we think now by itself. We had an economist do a study, and he said, "Look, by itself is a minor league baseball stadium going to make a lot of money for the city? No. What it's going to bring is all the development around it. That is where the difference. I mean, it's not going to lose money, but it's not going to make a lot by itself. But it's going to bring in so much activity, heads and beds. I mean, the hotels are going to do better, the restaurants will do better, and other forms of business opportunity and investment are going to happen too. So, yeah, it's a pretty big deal. So that's why it's such an emphasis. But that does not mean, to be clear, that we're not working on the conference center at the same time. It's just that there's a very tight timeline on this. So that's why if it sounds like the city is emphasizing the Emeralds over the conference center, that's not true. It's just we have the most restrictive restriction that restricts us at this point. That's a lawyer thing. My dad was a lawyer. Is the timeline for the Emeralds. So, but we're working on both. So, okay. Well, thank you all very much.
Thank you. Before you head off. Thank you. So how cool is that? Like a very personal town hall. So thank you very much for that opportunity. So Robert, excuse me, as a thank you for being our speaker today, we have a children's book, and this one is entitled The Boy Who Grew Flowers. So as part of our smart reading program, please sign that in your name and we'll donate that, put that in the hands of a young reader. All right.